This is the Washington Times front page for Monday, July 19th, 2021. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm George Gerbo. The U.S. Surgeon General predicts that surging COVID-19 cases will trigger another round of local mask mandates in certain places nationwide. Valerie Richardson reports Surgeon General Vivek Murthy told ABC's This Week that the mandates could return in areas where vaccinations are lagging and cases are picking up. In Los Angeles County, California, however, Sheriff Alex Villanueva announced he wouldn't enforce the county's mandate, which went into effect at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. Villanueva cited the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's May 13th guidance saying fully vaccinated people no longer need to wear masks. A federal judge's decision against the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program has injected new urgency into Congress's desire to give Dreamers a permanent legal solution. Stephen Dinan reports Judge Andrew Hannon ruled Friday that the Obama administration program cut too many corners in its creation and cannot legally stand. The ruling halted approvals of applications, but the more than 615,000 active DACA recipients will retain their protections. That moves the debate on the issue once again to Congress to come up with a replacement or more permanent solution. Attempts to pass broad bills to legalize millions of illegal immigrants failed in 2006, 2007, and 2013. Attempts to also pass smaller bills legalizing Dreamers have faltered nearly every year. In foreign affairs, Afghanistan may be the first domino to fall in a much broader restructuring of America's military footprint across the wider Middle East and Central Asia. Pentagon correspondent Ben Wolfgang reports some foreign policy analysts say the stars have aligned for a U.S. foreign policy overhaul nearly a decade in the making. The Pentagon is in the midst of a landmark global force posture review that could lay the groundwork for a significant reconfiguration of U.S. troops around the world. That could include the potential withdrawal of thousands of forces from bases in Kuwait, Iraq, and elsewhere across a theater that has consumed American foreign policy in the post-9/11 era. Some specialists argue that by taking the politically risky move of pulling forces from the region, President Biden is poised to free up manpower and equipment to focus on China and other 21st century threats. Such a strategy, however, would come with its own significant foreign policy risks. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Don't have access to the Times yet? Visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. Deputy Political Editor Dave Boyer looks at the details in the $3.5 trillion Democratic social spending human infrastructure bill that is being debated in Congress. Funding the plan would require tax increases that have been proposed by President Biden, more federal borrowing, or both. The federal government collected $3.8 trillion in tax revenue in fiscal 2021 to pay for defense, healthcare, Social Security, and a host of other annual expenses. The president has proposed raising taxes by about $2.5 trillion over 15 years to pay for his traditional and human infrastructure plans. The administration says beefed up tax collection would add $700 billion, and savings elsewhere in the budget would cover the rest of the new spending. Democrats are also projecting that a stronger economy will boost tax revenue. Conservatives say such budget forecasting is optimistic, given the proposed tax hikes. The number of weekly attacks against several of the critical infrastructure sectors deemed off-limits by President Biden has continued to soar over previous years, according to the cybersecurity firm Check Point. Ryan Lovelace reports Check Point observed an average of 406 attacks per week against the financial services industry, 790 average attacks per week against the healthcare industry, and 976 average attacks per week against the communications industry in June and July. Check Point says the average number of weekly attacks in these industries is more than double the rate at this time last year. A spokesperson for the firm said they can't identify the identity of the specific entities that were attacked due to non-disclosure agreements. And finally, James Varney reports on a conservative nonprofit group that will offer training for school board candidates. The Leadership Institute says it will help train candidates as a counter to what it says is a liberal influence over curriculum in schools. Courses will be available in person and online, and will also touch on a school district collective bargaining agreement if it's unionized, as well as fiscal management. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and subscribe for free to the front page. Just search Washington Times on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.